To order the Mandan Public School District. We're at Mandan City Hall, Bosch Freilich Room. Today is Monday, August 18th, 5:30 p.m. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. We have the approval agenda. Any changes to the agenda?
I do. Letter C under new business, I have a resignation, and I believe you have a hard copy of that resignation in front of you.
Any other changes? Seeing none, what are the wishes of the board?
I would move that we approve the agenda and the change, or the addition, excuse me.
I second.
Okay, motion and a second. Approval agenda. Mr. Dominich, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Next up, public communication. Anybody in the audience wishing to speak anything on the agenda? Anybody in the audience? Seeing nobody, we'll move on. Administrator's report, 2025-26 enrollment update. Dr. Vince?
Correct. You have should have a couple of sheet in front of you, front and back. The blue highlighted sheet is where we are this year. You can see that as of right now, we have 4,560 students that we expect here tomorrow, and that's between our early childhood special education program through grade 12. You can see we have 305 kindergarten students highlighted in green. If you look at the other side of that sheet with the date highlighted in pink, you can see that last year we started school about almost 2 weeks later, so it's a little different, but you can see that we started with 4,543 students on the end, but we had 330 kindergartners. So we are up about 17 students. When I left today, Carrie Power, our registration specialist, said she had another 16 students to put in. But I also know that there'll be some no-shows tomorrow that we just haven't got records requests or they haven't notified us that they're leaving. I'm guessing we're going to be relatively flat, pretty close to where we were last year once we pull those kids out. We've been going up anywhere from 40 to 100 students every year for a number of years, and this is a relatively flat year for us as far as enrollment. It is concerning that we only have 305 kindergartners. If you look down our third, fourth, and fifth grade have like 360, 370 kindergartners. Even if you go back to our first and second grade, we are about 330, 340. So this is a real dip for us. And I guess it's a little concerning. When I visit with Bismarck, West Fargo, they're kind of seeing the same enrollment numbers across their districts as well.
Questions on that?
When we did our enrollment projections and worked with the company that talked about that, did they talk about any of those trends happening with like the kindergarten thing? I mean, what's their feel? Because I know that if you read at the national level, there's people are having fewer children, and I mean, there's just lots of things happening in the world, and I was just curious.
They had such a wide variance. They did use the birth rate, and they did the high and the low, and we're within that, but we're much more towards the low level of that. His actual enrollment data, and he doesn't count early childhood special ed, so it's different, but we're right where he says we're supposed to be overall, except we exceed enrollment projections in the middle and high school, and we're lower in the elementary. Last year we sent about 350 fifth graders up to the middle school, and we're only bringing in 305 kindergartners. So we're down about 45, I think 47 kids. We're down about 47 kids across our 7 elementary schools.
As far as our registration numbers, it really isn't official numbers until it's September or something?
Yeah, it tells sometime in September. It's with such an early start. I think we have a lot of kids who we haven't got. They're just registering in their new districts, and we haven't exited them out because we haven't got a records request yet.
Anything else? Moving on, fiscal year 2026 committee assignments.
That's also in your packet. One change from what I handed out in July, the Joint Facilities Committee that we share with the Park District. That'll be Rick Horn and Darren Haugen. Mr. Wolf he was on there previously. He had a conflict, and Mr. Haugen is going to replace him. Otherwise, I haven't changed anything since July, so I'm assuming that will move forward with that. Okay.
And then North Dakota School Board Association Fall Conference.
Correct. That's usually the end of October. It's usually right around Halloween every year. This year they changed it. It's October 9th and 10th. We don't have any new members to the board, but the new member seminar would be the 9th, and that's also the legal seminar. And then the actual convention starts the afternoon of the 9th and goes all day on the 10th. So if you're interested in attending, let me know and we will get you registered.
Let Dr. Bitts know if you plan on attending. Next up, we're on the consent agenda. On the consent agenda, we just have one item, approve the previous board minutes from August 4th, 2025. Can I get a motion, please?
I'd move to approve the previous board minutes from August 4th.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes. Ms. Revenich, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. We have nothing under unfinished business. Under new business, we have reviewed and consider approval of the fiscal year 26 consolidated application. Consolidated application, titles 1, 2, and 4. Dr. Megadroth?
Yes, you'll find a kind of a summary of our consolidated application in your packet. Since we have been now officially given, or all of our funds have been released. So just to walk through it a little bit, we are due to do tribal consultation tomorrow. Being within 60 miles of a reservation, we're required to do consultation on our federal funding. We go twice a year. In the fall, we go on our consolidated application, and then in the spring, we go down and meet on our Title VI funding, which is specific to our Indigenous education program. This year, they're doing it via Zoom, so I will meet with them tomorrow on it, but I included that within the packet as well. So technically, we have not done tribal consultation yet. It will be tomorrow. But if we look at our Title I funds, I put it in there, we're almost dead even to what we got last year, $1,408,000, up about $2,000, but real even, distributed between our eligible elementary schools, which this year are Lakewood, Custer, Lewis and Clark, Mary Stark, and Roosevelt. Lewis and Clark is an addition from last year. They're one of ours that tend to kind of bounce on and off. They've been a Title I in the past. They were not last year. They're back on this year. In addition to our middle school, and then we do serve the 2 private elementary schools based upon the formula. We only serve students who would fall within attendance areas that are Title I schools that happen to go to those private schools. So that's where those numbers come from. We use Title I primarily for staff. That we do use some supplies and to some for our homeless liaison working in our district, but primarily for Title I staff. And you can see that breakdown on the first page. The enrollment numbers are on here were as of earlier this spring when I did the application. So that's what they based them off of. Those aren't necessarily our current enrollment right now. Our district poverty rate is up almost 4%, about 3.66%. We're at 34.94%. And so you'll see Mary Stark still continues to be our highest, although Custer is right there as well. Lakewood's number 3 at 48%, then Roosevelt, Lewis and Clark, and Mandan Middle School. And you'll see the FTEs that are associated with each of those buildings on there. So that's Title I. 2, we primarily use for instructional coaches within our district, as well as some professional development piece. We did see about a $12,000 increase there. We're at $369,000 there. Again, instructional coaches, district-wide professional development is what we use these dollars for. And then 4 is what we use for our school nurses. We use one of our family liaison positions out of there. And we can use some of it for technology. We have in the past. We aren't currently doing that, though. And we did see about a $2,300 increase there. So about even for that. And then just a reminder, we do out of equity for our students do run lookalike programs at both Fort Lincoln and Red Trail with our instructional coaches that even though there aren't title schools, we support an FT in each of those buildings so that they can run a similar intervention and process as our title schools do to ensure that all of our students have those opportunities. So that's just kind of a quick 30,000 foot view of our title funds. Like I said, very, very similar to last year. We'll see how it looks moving forward. I'm pretty confident in 1 not going anywhere. We'll see what happens with 2 and 4. But right now we are fully funded like we were last year. And with that, any questions?
One quick question as far as the Mandan, Title IV,
Yeah.
FY '21, and this was '25.
Oh, yep. Sorry. Thank you.
As far as our funding, is it pretty much everybody want the same, where everybody stayed the same statewide ones you know of? Or?
They actually redid the Title I funding formula. It used to be totally based across the state on free and reduced lunch. And now they base it on census poverty data. So what is the poverty of your community? For us, that stayed pretty even. I think we ended up Ryan was about 60,000 less, maybe, give or take, but for the most part, pretty even. Some communities saw huge drops. If they're, like I think at St. John, they have a lot of people come from other communities into school for them, but their community itself, census data was not nearly that low, so they lost a ton of Title I money, if that makes sense. And they're wanting districts to work cooperatively, that if you are having a lot of students come from another district, then you need to work cooperatively on sharing those funds. So it was a big change for some. We got lucky in Mandan that it was not a huge change for us, but it does open the door that if we ever wanted to look at a different metric outside of free and reduced lunch to determine eligibility, we could. We haven't figured out a great what that would be necessarily, or haven't spent a lot of time on that, but if we ever wanted to look at a combination of factors, it does open the door to do that.
If I may, Mr. President, just a reminder, we're not really specifically talking about our child nutrition program, but if you remember last spring, Mary Stark, Custer, Lakewood, and Roosevelt, all students who attend there will get free lunch and free breakfast, and that's based on their poverty level. We're going to get reimbursed for those. I think that's going to be a nice benefit for the families and students that are in those schools.
How will that affect then as far as applying for the application?
We do still need free and reduced lunch forms because they do trigger things. However, because they've gone to that census data for poverty rate, it's not quite as important as it was. When it was straight free and reduced lunch, it was extremely important. Still is because it still triggers other services for us and other supports. But since they use the community census data now, it lessens that a little bit. And then just because it's the next thing on there, I just included in there the information that I share when we do tribal consultation. It's very much a breakdown of our consolidated application and an overview of the services we provide. I'm a little disappointed not to be able to go down there in person this year. We always just have really good conversations with the Health and Wellness Committee down at Fort Yates. And Travis Albers, I can't say enough of how impactful he has been for our district and the connections he has. So I just included that for your information. And then next meeting, I can come back with hopefully their signed letter that they signed off on our consultation.
Next up, we review and consider approval of adding a 1/7 to an existing teaching contract for Ruth Sutherland.
We should probably have a approval of our consolidated application just on what I presented today.
Ahead of myself, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay. What are the wishes of the board regarding the application?
I would move that we approve the 2026 consolidated application.
Second.
Motion and a second. Ms. Revenich, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. All right, next up, review and consider approval of adding a 1/7 to an existing teaching contract for Ruth Sutherland, Mandan Middle School, facts.
Yes. As we talked about, we are higher numbers right now in our middle school and high school, and their elective sections were pushing over 30. And so they asked to add an additional section of facts, and Ruth has agreed to teach that overload. So we just need to add an additional 1/7 to her current contract. And we appreciate her willingness to do it.
On that? Are the wishes of the board?
I'd move to approve adding a 7th to the existing teaching contract of Ruth Sutherland. Facts.
Second.
Motion and a second. Ms. Rabinich, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yep.
Yes.
Yes. Under letter C, teacher resignation. That's where we're at.
Yes, in front of you should have Jaden Underwood's letter of resignation, and we would recommend that you accept it and thank her for her years of service in Mandan.
So with this, we've got a plan in place for starting school tomorrow.
We do, yep.
I'll make a motion to accept Jaden Underwood's resignation.
Second.
Along with that, I'd like to thank her for her service to the school district. Ms. Rabinich, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Next up, we got future meeting dates. Today, August 18th, we have a school board retreat, 6 o'clock here at the City Hall. August 25th, Facilities and Finance, 5 o'clock, Brave Center. September 2nd, regular school board meeting, note the time is 7 o'clock at the City Hall. And then September 15th, regular school board meeting, 5:30 at City Hall. And after that, on September 15th, budget hearing, 6 o'clock at City Hall. Any other meetings this time? All right, meeting's adjourned.